4 massive papers, 3 practicals in a span of just 10 days. The syllabus seemed infinite and the time to complete the revisions was running out. The prelims of third year MBBS were here. Hi everyone, my name is Anuj. I'm a third year MBBS student at GMC Nagpur and welcome back to my channel. So let me tell you what the schedule of the MBBS exams look like. So in the first week we have 4 papers and a practical back to back without any holiday in between. And in the next one we have the 2 remaining practicals. The stress was high and the syllabus stood very tall. In less than 48 hours left to give my final push. See, the battle to the strongest enemy, you have to look for the weakest of points. And to win any war, you have to play with your mind as much as you have to play with your arms. I knew that PSM was my difficult subject and would require a literal sacrifice of my soul to succeed in it. So I wanted it to get over first. So the 2 days before my PSM 1 exam, I started PSM 2. And oh boy, was it tough. Tougher than it looks on surface. Grossly speaking, this part deals with family care, demography, and the health system of India, along with some other topics such as occupational health and nutrition. And so my day started out. It is getting pretty chilly in Nagpur and welcome back to the exam saga. In 2 days I have a prelims examination, so let's get on with it. I'm going to study PSM 2 first because that's the paper that's on the second day, and tomorrow I'm going to study PSM 1 because that's the paper on the first day. So the goal is to write down every single important topic into my notebook because I need writing practice before I go to the exam. Let's go. The first topic that I was doing was called as demography. It is literally meaning the study of the populations, and associated with it is something called as family planning. So in the family planning unit, we learn what are different types of contraceptives, and in demography, we learn about the demographic cycle and the different trends that different countries are going through, and what are the factors affecting each and every part of the population. Here my strategy was to revise everything at least twice before the exams comes up, and what I was also doing over here is writing everything down in my notebook so that I could revise that notebook before the exam comes up. Also, throughout this whole episode, you will see that writing the question and answer down in the exact format that you're going to write in the exam is going to be super helpful for any exam that you might encounter. The next part was preventive medicine in obstetrics, pediatrics and geriatrics. So this part basically deals with the mother and the child health. And in here, we learn about different programs that are present for low birth weight babies, cause of something like infant mortality or maternal mortality. And these are all very important questions of our PSM examination. Slowly, the progress was being made on PSM part 2. As I started out with the easy topics, but gradually, the topics that were easy ran out and the topics which were new to me started entering the field. It was at that time I realized, okay, this is harder than it looks like. Hi everyone, I just completed the demographic and family planning section. Now I am on to the MCH care part. It's currently 9:07 and since the morning I've completed that one major section. Now actually I'm practicing everything writing down. So in here you can see all of these things. Other ones which I just wrote from here to here. So that's one section done. Writing is really helping me remember. Now I'm on to more complicated things because demography and family planning was important as well as an easy topic. Alright, the chapter on preventive pediatrics, geriatrics has ended, and my god, sometimes when you read PSM it all gets like a blur, so you don't exactly know which question's answer is what because it's all too broad spectrum in a way. Right, next chapter is nutrition and health. So a pro tip for studying is to change your place of study frequently, because you see, before I was in third year, my study table was something else and I was sitting in a different place. Earlier I used to sit in my bed and study, and now you can see I'm going over to my Jhula to go and study. So the thing is, if you keep frequently changing your place, your mind naturally refreshes and renews, and your motivation for studying increases by a lot. Before we go any further, I have something to talk about. So a lot of times people ask me this question is, how do you read PDFs on an iPad? There are a lot of apps which can do this, but the one which I'm going to talk about today, it is one of the best ones out there. It's called as Wondershare PDF Element. So you can download it from your app store. You can import literally any PDF into it. After the PDF is in the app, you can directly start marking up, writing down, annotating, drawing with different colors, highlighting, adding text, adding different images, and basically doing everything with the PDF that you can possibly do. And the more creative you are with your notes, the better retention you can get. Additionally, if you've been a notebook based student for your entire life, you can also transfer all of your notebooks into the PDF element by just scanning them and importing them into your iPad. Once that PDF has been created, you can directly add on, annotate your notes which you have already written on physical copy into a digital version. Apart from this, you can directly edit the text of a PDF. I mean, that's the coolest feature I've seen in any of the apps that I've tried so far. And the text remains remains in the same font style as it was originally. That's just amazing. You can edit so many documents using that, and it's going to be super helpful to you. So what you can do right now is go to the link in the description down below, and using that link you can download the PDF element absolutely for free, and you can try it out as much as you want to, and if you like it you can also buy the premium subscription of it. It helps the channel out a lot, and I'm sure you will love it. Anyways, thanks to Wondershare PDF element for sponsoring this segment, and now back to the video. Alright, so the next topic was nutrition, and in nutrition we are studying about what are different deficiencies that Indian population faces and how do we treat them. What are the various national programs launched to battle different diseases such as anemia or something like vitamin A deficiency, and what is the role of nutrition in disease, and it is actually a very important one, and it's simultaneously an easy chapter, so it was fun reading that part. After the chapter of nutrition was done, I started to lose my motivation for studying PSM because 3 or 4 chapters in a day is basically the limit for me. So I tricked my mind and again started going from the back side of the subject so as to increase my motivation to study, because see guys, motivation for PSM is a very big deal and you will realize it soon enough when you are in 3rd year. Anyways, so the chapter that I was studying right now is called as health planning and management, and in this chapter we are dealing with what are different committees which are present in India, and what are the various methods we can do cost analysis, and what is network analysis, and we are learning how to plan out things. So this chapter will teach you how to make and formulate a national policy from the root all the way to the government. It had a lot of interesting topics as well, so something like marketing and all, it was present in it, which was really surprising to find over there. We're literally studying marketing and how to make a budget and what is the uses of cost analysis, all of that in a subject of medicine. The name is literally community medicine. So the update is I have done quite a lot of chapters. I think around 3 are left, which are the major ones, but I have been spending a lot of time writing everything down so that I remember it for a longer period of time. I don't know how long am I going to remember it. Maybe I'll forget it just after the paper is done. Maybe that's what's going to happen. But currently on the health communication chapter, I think it's the health communication chapter. It's around 6 and things are going very silent outside. It's a very nice mawsam in Nagpur at this very month, and I'm here sitting on my table preparing PSM. And one more thing I found out, that there is this committee called as the Bohr committee who actually decided to introduce PSM as a subject for all medical students. It's literally written over here. So it's the Bohr committee, 3 months training in preventive and social medicine to prepare social physicians. I'm not really sure if it was a nice recommendation. Gradually it took me a lot longer than I expected it to be. So in the end I had to call it a day, and I left a few of the topics which were important of PSM2 and I went to bed. I woke up with a little bit of anxiety. So the anxiety was simple. I could not complete the subject yesterday, so I might not be able to complete it today. And that's a very genuine question. With this anxiety, anyways, I started out reading PSM1. In around 15 hours, I have the prelims examination of 30 MBBS, which is the biggest examination in 3rd year yet. And the paper tomorrow is PSM1, which has a lot of topics, and since the morning I've only covered around 20% of them. Let's go. This is the book called as Shetty, this is Park, and this is Vivek Jain. These are the 3 important resources I'm using for PSM. Currently I'm on the topic of epidemiology and communicable diseases. So I'm starting the communicable disease part right now. Essentially this part has been covered before. So the idea here is pretty simple. First of all, I'm just going to read whatever that is given in the important topic PDF as well as what is important over here. Next, I'm going to write it down, and thirdly, I'm going to solve MCQs and look at previous year question papers. This is 3 basic steps to conquering any examination. With that, you should have some sort of luck, because the exam could literally ask you anything. And this is MBBS, my friend. This is one of the hardest courses ever. I should get studying right now. One of the best things you can do in examination is to use review books to your advantage, because they have all of the information consolidated in a very small space. So you get to review first and then you can go out and learn in much more detailed fashion. So I'm doing that right now. PSM1 is relatively easy for me. The reason is I've already studied it like 2 or 3 times. So I knew that no matter what happens, I will be able to accomplish this paper at least. So in this part, we deal with what is the concept of health, what are different communicable and non-communicable diseases, what role does the environment play in your entire diseases, and finally, we also learn about some genetic part of health and health information. What you can see me doing over here is using my iPad, and I'm writing down the different points of epidemiology of communicable diseases into my iPad. And the way that I'm doing it is pretty simple. I just draw a triangle, one of them being agent, the next being host, and the next being environment, the 3 vertex, and the center of the triangle being the incubation period. For example, something like typhoid will have the agent such as salmonella, and the host being the humans, and finally the reservoir or the environment being the contaminated cases or carriers, and the incubation period being like around 7 days. So this is the thing which is helping me, read diseases very fast. I could just look at that triangle and it would all get revised very, very fast. Now this topic has a lot of communicable diseases. Let me just name a few of them. We have measles, mumps, rubella, diphtheria, meningococcal meningitis, tuberculosis, malaria, dengue, typhoid, food poison, etc., etc. Now these are the communicable diseases which we all have to study. Sooner or later, using the review book and my own brain, I was able to conquer all the epidemiological communicable diseases. The next part was doing the social sciences and how they play a role in health, and also how does an environment play a role in your health. Hello everyone, I've just completed the communicable disease part, which was a lot. We had to study like all the diseases right from the starting and all the infective diseases mostly. So what's left now is the non-communicable diseases, which includes cancer, stroke, diabetes, obesity, hypertension, all of that, and the remaining part of environmental and social science, mental health, all of that stuff. I'd say I am 50% done with the syllabus right now. It's something around 9:15 right now. So we've got a lot of ground to cover. I'm just gonna go downstairs, spend like 20-40 minutes and then come back to study. Honestly, I'm a bit scared about this one. I'm at the same time not scared as well as scared because the syllabus is so vast. I haven't given a paper before with seriousness because they were online papers. So I don't know what to expect. And I haven't solved the MCQs yet. It's my fault, I know. That's why I'm a bit scared. It will be okay. I know it will be. Winter is officially here. I'm wearing my jacket and I'm just back from dinner and I gotta go study this right now. It's high time I study this. So in social sciences, we deal with nature of the family, or what are different types of family, how can their traditions and cultures affect your health, and what are different advices that we could give. So this is the part of sociology and health. The next part was environment. And in environment, we are literally dealing with all the types that you read in EVS. So something like air pollution, sound pollution, noise pollution, water pollution, different insects, different vectors for diseases. So all of that part is given in environment. You see, as I was doing all of that, I felt something. I felt anxiety for the first time during my exam seasons, because for the last few months, I have been living entirely anxiety free. Now this anxiety was pretty obvious. The reason was this was the first time I was giving a paper like this on this scale, because the last one which I gave was pretty much an online one. And we all know how those are, of course. So this was an offline paper, it was a huge one. So I felt this anxiety, maybe what will happen if something comes out of the things which I haven't read before. And these are the thoughts before the paper that could really hamper your performance. And at that point, I could not do anything apart from just keep those thoughts aside and focus on my studies, because I was running out of time and my paper was around 12 hours to go. So I decided to actively eliminate those thoughts and focus on the things which are very important. And I think that's what you should do as well if you face something like this. So I'm currently in the environment unit and I'm getting a little bit stressed because there's so much to learn, so much to do. And it's my first paper for third year MBBS. It's 11:30, still got time to do stuff. Tomorrow the paper is at 2. Let's go. Okay everyone, I've covered 95 or 90% of the syllabus right now. It was a bit difficult, not gonna lie. Tomorrow is the PSM1 paper and I'm stressed out. It's almost 1 in the night. Tomorrow I have to wake up at around 7:30 at that time because I need to get some sleep in there. I'm anxious, but it should be fine because we have read everything. कहीं ना कहीं से कुछ ना कुछ तो लिख ही देगा, पास हो जाएंगे, no problem. Well, with that positive message, I'm gonna sleep now. Good night. See you tomorrow. I've just woken up and it's time for some active recall. I slept for 5.5 hours and that's honestly enough because I've got a paper today, not tomorrow. Let's do it. It was finally time. It was the day of the examination and the exam was at 2 p.m. and I woke up at around 6 in the morning. Gradually I revised everything, and finally the anxiety which was lurking inside my subconscious was fading away slowly. Because see, that's what preparation does to you. Preparation decreases your anxiety, increases your performance, and literally everything with respect to academics. And I don't recall any paper that I've given which I have never been prepared for. So in short, pay attention to your studies more than you're paying attention to anything else in life, because those are the things which will actually make or break your life. Apart from that, also enjoy whenever you get time. Anyways, continuing on, finally after a long time, I had read everything twice. So my initial goal which I had planned for was successful.
revising everything twice, and also writing some parts down. And I felt, okay, I'm ready for this examination. Whatever it throws at me, I will smash that.
Hello everyone, it's 3 hours to go for the paper of PSM1. I am feeling relieved, less anxious than before, and I just did one last revision of everything except epidemiological part, and I did it using the active recall method where I just asked myself questions and tried to write it down on my own. I'm not sure what I have to write in the paper because I have never given a paper as vague as this one. It has got so many different things. In one part in biostats you're studying mathematics, another one you're studying sociology, another one you're studying how to control environment, and the other one you're studying vaccines. So it's very vague. It is not defined clearly and it's logical. So I just have to use my brain and do things. I'm gonna get the stationery required because I don't have any sort of pens, etc. Gonna go get that. We have 1 hour to go for the paper. I have to go at 1:30. It's 12:30 right now. I'm still looking at the final things that I need to look. I haven't read COVID yet, but I did study it before, so it should be okay. I'm just looking at the investigation of the food poisoning thing over here.
Before going to the examination, one final thing which I always do is this exercise of telling myself that I shall prevail. And this single-handedly, this statement has changed my life because that gives you a boost of confidence. And guys, if you're confident, your brain is in the positive attitude and it will give you much more better results compared to if you're feeling scared or underconfident. Just this simple rhyme, just chant itself before the exam. We shall prevail, I shall prevail, and everything will be under control. And that's what I said to myself and boldly went on to give the PSM paper.
I'm done with PSM. I don't want to study it anymore. It's okay. I'm gonna go to the exam. Give it, pass it, rock it. We shall prevail. We will. Okay, this is the time I need to go give my exam finally. I am ready. Let's go. I need to get my watch.
Once I reached the anatomy parking, I met my friends. My mom dropped me over there and they all seemed pretty tensed up, but slowly, each of them relaxed. And we finally entered the examination hall. And oh boy, the paper was easy. It was really easy compared to the preparation that we had done. Because you see, whenever we're preparing, we always feel like we are underprepared. But in reality, our mind is subconsciously processing a lot of things that only come out once you see the exam paper. And in those 3 hours, we are very focused. Now these were theory-based examinations and we had also some MCQs. Overall, my PSM paper 1, I rocked it. And thanks to all the preparation that I had done. And the tensed up Anuj which went inside came out with a happy smile, knowing that PSM 1 was finally done.
Hello everyone, paper just ended. It was nice and it was good. It was okay. The preparation that we did paid off. Kya Aditi?
Yes.
And hey, if you're enjoying this video, please make sure to hit the like button and also consider subscribing because these videos take up usually 3 or 4 days to edit as well as like literally hundreds and hundreds of GBs to record. So just subscribing for 2 seconds would make up for all of our efforts. And also smash the like button while you're at it.
Hello everyone, I just got back, done with PSM1. It's 5:30. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but tomorrow I've got a PSM2 paper. Before going any further, I'd like to take a break for 2 hours I think and enjoy. And I'll start studying at 7:30 or so because if my brain is well rested, then I'll have better chance of understanding what I'm reading. And the paper was easy. The questions were predictable. All of them came from the important topic PDF. Here's the paper, you can see for yourself. Another thing is that the MCQs, they were very much related from Marrow and from the previous year question papers. The kid shouting in the background, I know. So that was that. The MCQ was sort of hard. It was like the NEET PG level that we're used to solving. And since I hadn't solved all the modules, etc., I did not know a few of them, but that's honestly okay. PSM1 is done. That's the bigger part. Relaxing now. Right. Lesson learned, you don't follow a series if your exam is going on. I watched almost 2.5 episodes of a series, the 100 that I've been following on Netflix. It's 8:15. I haven't read a word. In 12 or 13 hours, effective 12 or 13 hours, I have my paper. So PSM paper 2 is pretty simple compared to paper 1 because paper 1 had literally every single diseases, but paper 2 is much more theoretical and there's a scope. We can write a lot of things in one particular answer. Let's go.
After watching the episodes and relaxing a lot, I mean literally a lot, I had to study PSM2. And PSM2 was the one paper which I thought I was good at. And the problem is when you think you're good at something and you're not exactly sure, the reality is you're not really good at that thing. And that's what happened with me. So I revised PSM2 a few days back, right after this video started filming. and I thought that I had done it all. So I started revising my notes and all the different books with it, and gradually, all the things which were hidden came out, and I started to know what my actual situation was. It was, in one word, underprepared. So the anxiety which was gone a few hours back came back and told me, जो विक्ट्री तुम्हारी पहले पेपर में हुई है, हो सकता है वो सेकेंड पेपर में ना हो, तो ऐसा करो, पढ़ लो. And that kept me going for a longer time. And gradually, I read all the things which I had already read before. So things like health planning and management, mental health, occupation health, nutrition, geriatrics, pediatrics, and health programs of India. Oh my god, the health programs, those are really difficult.
Hello everyone, it's 11:45, almost 12. I need to sleep because my brain has officially shut down. I cannot read more. The only thing that has left is MCH, mother-child health, and second thing is occupation and nutrition. These are three big topics which are left. And of course I have to revise everything once or twice before I go to the exam. So I'm going to wake up at 7 in the morning and do that. It's really exhausting. PSM2 is actually the most unprepared I have been before a paper in my entire life. So this is difficult because the papers are continuous and the syllabus is huge, and this is the first time giving the paper. Anyways, good night. Everyone, it's 6:40. I need to get working on my targets.
With 5 hours of sleep in the night, I finally woke up in the morning on my way to revise everything once again. The topics which I had read and the topics which I have not read. And I also saw that the things which were already a smudge before in my mind got a little bit clearer in the morning. Because in the morning you're very fresh and your brain works a lot faster, at least personally for me. So that's what happened. So gradually the anxiety started fading away, but this was nowhere near close enough to what I had before the first paper, which was almost anxiety free. So as you can guess by now, PSM2 was a difficult paper to study for.
It's 11:30. I'm on the last revision. I'm just taking up the topics which I haven't read before, and as well as the ones which I've read before. It is a bit stressing because I feel like my preparation is nowhere enough for me to score good an exam. I can pass the exam, but it won't be good enough for me to get the best rank. Let us see what happens. I prepared as much as I could and I don't want to go on any longer. I'm mentally exhausted. I haven't showered from 2 days and it's PSM2 in around 45 minutes. I need to get going. It's okay. I may pass. I don't know. I'm ready to go and feeling a lot of anxiety right now, but it's okay. We shall prevail. We always do.
Guess what happened? We made our way into the classroom, expecting that we are all gonna lose today. But to our surprise, the paper which they gave us was actually better in comparison to PSM1. I mean, that's the best news. You see, you prepare so much and you overthink literally every single possibility that your paper actually goes well because you're prepared for it. So in comparison, in PSM2, I wrote about 45 pages of information, whereas in PSM1, I wrote only 37. That means whatever notion I had about this examination was actually wrong. And if you're prepared for it well enough, you will prevail. And again, I chanted this mantra of we shall prevail, and in the end, boys and girls, we did it.
Hello everyone, PSM is finally over. I have done it and the paper was excellent. I was worrying for no reason apparently because all the things which we have studied was the ones which they asked. The MCQs were NEET PG level, but I got them because I had solved the lectures on Marrow and everything. Overall, it was a very nice experience to finally put an end to this subject called as PSM. In the prelims, I'll have still 2 more papers and 2 more practicals left, but I'm PSM free as of this moment. I'm going home and that's about it. I am so relieved that my PSM is done. Now I don't have to study it for 2 more days. After that, I'll have to study it for the practicals again. Hello darkness, my old friend. The next paper that I've got is ENT. It's tomorrow. I'm just going to revise the hardest parts today. Tomorrow, I'm going to leave some space for relaxing. So, right. Now on to ENT right now.
So finally, PSM was over and I had been relieved of this major subject. The next paper on the next day was something called as ear, nose and throat, also called as naak, kaan, ghasa. So this paper was a little bit relaxing for me because I have read ENT numerous times, and by this time I am very confident in whatever questions they can ask. And this is not the pseudo confidence, because in this one I've solved the question banks, watched the lectures, and also wrote down a lot of the things into my copy. So I'm prepared both for theory as well as for practicals and MCQs. So after the trauma that was PSM, I slept peacefully during the night of ENT.
Hi everyone, it's 9. I haven't studied anything, but ENT is relatively easier than PSM. It has a lot more concept to it. So today, in around 1 hour, I shall do the nose and the throat part. The book is Dingra, and let's go. So the nose part is finished. The only thing is left is that the throat and the ear part. It's almost 12. I should really sleep right now. I predict it's gonna be CSOM tomorrow. That's the main case in the ear. It's okay, I've studied ENT, I got this. That's what long-term preparation does to you. Confidence. Alright guys, it's the morning and let's get on with ear and throat. I'm feeling much better. I don't have any sort of stress in life just because PSM is over. My life has been so good. I've had the best sleep I've had in my exam days. Let's do ENT. ENT is a good subject. It's the best subject in third year, I think. Alright, enough ranting. Chale.
I revised my notes and read all the important topics. I had changed a lot of positions. In fact, watched a few YouTube videos before going to the paper, just because I could. And guess what? As I predicted, all the questions which came in ENT were actually from the important topics, and we rocked it once again. This was a continuous streak going on from the last 3 papers, that every single time I was preparing and the exam was going well. And that was the end of that streak. Next paper, my friends, was ophthalmology.
If you can see, there is a nest over here, and this is right next to our gallery. So the birds come from here, go over there, and actually there's one bird inside. There it goes. Go on, little birdie. Okay, he's off. He's over there. Hello everyone, it's time for me to go to the paper, and honestly I'm prepared. I would want my preparation to be better, but this is the best I can do. So now, going to ENT.
Ophthalmology is the hardest subject for me in third year, because in that small portion you call the eye, they have got things which you cannot comprehend. So I came back home a little bit tensed for the next paper and a lot relaxed because 3/4 of the papers were done.
Hello everyone, ENT just got over. I just came back home and the paper was super easy, barely an inconvenience. If you know that reference, then you're a legend. Anyways, I'm just gonna chill out a bit. Tomorrow is ophthalm. I've done half of ophthalm very nicely. I've written everything down in my notebook, so I'm just gonna use that to revise. But apart from that, the other half of ENT, ophthalm, which is left, I'll have to do today itself, so that my ophthalm at least is revised once, because that is a typically hard paper, what we usually hear from our seniors as well. Anyways, now is the time for me to relax a bit, so I'm gonna do that. Alright, so tomorrow is ophthalm. It's around 8 right now. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my notes, which I already took 1 week ago when I made episode 1 of the series, and use those notes first of all to get a head start on my preparation, because it has got almost 13 or 14 chapters out of the 20 that we have to read, and those cover the most important topics. So whenever you are preparing for a theory exam, consider to make your own notes in a way that you would write the answers in your papers, because that saves you time from opening the book, flipping through the pages, or going through the PDF in my case, and really helps you a lot. Because now I'm very confident that I just read my notes. It's 42 pages long, but once I read that, I will be done with most of the important topics of ophthalm. So right now, gonna do that. Alright.
Next, moving on to ophthalmology, I started out with notes which I had taken in the last episode. These notes were from chapter 1 of ophthalm, that is errors of refraction, all the way to chapter 12 or 13 of ophthalm, that was glaucoma. So it gave me a head start from all the other people who were directly reading from the textbook. You see, reading from the textbook is a very difficult thing to do if you're studying for a theory paper and your time is limited. So if you're studying for a theory paper, I would 100% recommend that you make your own notes and study from those notes. First of all, it eliminates all the clutter that is written in textbook and gives you a complete tunnel vision, pun intended, so that you could study very clearly from only the important topics. Another thing, it gives you a practice of writing down things in your copy. So if you're a student who is giving your board examinations right now, I would suggest that for the next board examinations, just write down whatever the questions you have, those are important, into your notebook. So by the time I was reading my 42nd page of glaucoma, my friends were still in the first chapter, that was refractory errors. And with that, I finally closed the book and slept.
I am officially done with reading all of these notes of ophthalm that I took. I'm just gonna sleep now and wake up at 6, do everything else. Good night.
The next day was filled with anxiety because that was the first time that I had opened the ophthalm textbook before the exam, because I had not seen the ophthalm textbook for over a week and the only thing which I had been reading were my notes. In the textbook, I made sure to go from the topics which I had not read first to the ones which I had read. That gave me a layering of information which was gradually solidified. But the anxiety was still going on. As you can see in this video, I'm dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety, and the reason for that is we have not gotten enough time to study. Maybe that's my fault, maybe it's not. Anyways, that's what makes a medical student, the ability to adapt to literally every single situation that life throws at him or her. And that's why I'd like to call ourselves pluripotent, the ability to adapt to change and to overcome it successfully. And this is a clear example of that.
Well, I'm just gonna say it, right? This might be controversial, but ophthalm is much more difficult than PSM2. That's right. Yes, I said it. Because this is never ending and there are so many things in this tiny eye. It's around 2 hours to go, but still I don't feel confident enough to go to the paper. I don't know why. I've studied ophthalm, written ophthalm, studied more ophthalm than any man I know in this building. That is just me. But still, I studied it, but it's still difficult. This guy wants to sell papad while I am dealing with optic neuritis. Sad life. It appears that I am the first person to arrive, so I'm reading.
As I finally entered the college, I saw a lot of my friends, and all of them were stressed. One of them was literally crying, and we were all consolidating her for that. But the thing is, we told ourselves we shall prevail. We went inside the exam hall, and it felt like Godzilla had shown himself. It felt like the mountain had cracked open because the questions were difficult and they were not from what we had anticipated them to be. And my friends, ophthalm was finally manifesting itself, pun intended again, from the latent part that it was in our minds. In one of the questions, I had to use extrapolation method that we usually use. So it goes something like this. One of our seniors told me, अगर तुम्हें पूछा गया है कि इस झाड़ के बारे में लिखो और तुम्हें ये झाड़ के बारे में कुछ नहीं पता है, तो इस झाड़ से एक गाय को बांधो और उस गाय के बारे में लिखो. And this method was sometimes, in some places, I had to use that. I'm sure that you are all familiar with what I'm talking about, but I'm pretty sure with whatever I have done, I will be successful in ophthalm. It is just not what I intended it was going to be. That is what caused me to lose all of my mind. But with that, my last paper ended and we were finally down with only the practicals left. It was a huge sigh of relief. As I was writing my ophthalm paper, I was thinking, finally, this is over. अब 1 महीने तक के मुझे ये सब नहीं सोचना है. So with all of that done, I came back home with an overall smile on my face.
I am done with the theory of prelims of third year MBBS. हो गया खत्म भाई. And it's so relieving. So relieving. The past week has been extremely stressful for various reasons, including the biggest one being PSM and ophthalm. I did not expect that ophthalm would be so difficult to study in the morning when you've got 4 hours to go for the paper. And second of all, my paper today
was awesome. It was beautiful. I wrote everything. I drew a lot of diagrams. I hope the teacher will be happy. And if you're the teacher who corrected my paper, let me know down below in the comments. Anyways, I'm free. I'm gonna defeat the wither on this occasion because we have been collecting wither skulls for the same, and it will be awesome in Minecraft, of course. Okay. Alright, so the story is tomorrow I've got a PSM practical examination for this prelims, and what we have over there is biostatistics, the epidemiology of all the diseases, all the concepts in PSM that they're gonna ask us in a grand viva, and finally a case that we have to present, and of course the spotting. I've got not even 12 hours before that exam starts, and I've done the spotting part. I'm just gonna revise that and do all of the PSM once again for my practicals tomorrow. So here you can see I'm using my computer to look at spots. Yeah, that's right guys, हम दाल चावल देखते हैं PSM में, and we study कि कौन सा प्रोटीन में कौन सा अमीनो एसिड डेफिशिएंट है, right? And also मच्छर भी है, so it's PSM. Meanwhile I'm copying the footage. Oh my god, this is taking time. Episode 2, yes. So that is the current target. I haven't had any food. It's 10:03. Let's start. The first practical was PSM, and by the time I was home, it was already 5:30, and the practical was in the morning at 8:30, so I did not have a lot of time. But at the same time, I was very confident in subject because 2 of my papers went excellent for the same. So that confidence prevented me from revising a lot of things that day, and I actually relaxed a bit on that. I focused more on the cases part, which was one of the parts of our Viva. One thing which I also focused on much more in this part was biostatistics. So if you're an engineer, you might be familiar with biostatistics. If you're someone who is doing biotech, you might be very familiar with it. So in here we deal with how to calculate the incidence, prevalence, how do we calculate the attributable risk, relative risk, odds ratio, etc. And I practiced a lot of numericals from one of our assignments which were given to us, and that was the assignment which proved to be very helpful in the next day of the exam. So after doing biostatistics, I went to bed and woke up the next day. Hi everyone, I just woke up at 6:30. Let's get this done because on 8:30 I have a practical. Let's go. And finally went for my first practical. That was PSM. First of all, we were shown the spots, and there were 5 spots, and these spots carried 10 marks. The next part, we were shown biostatistics questions in which we had to solve. And finally, we had been given a case. So my case was a 10-month-old boy who had been admitted for fever since the past 1 month. And that boy was also a case of sickle cell anemia. So all of this made me sad, but also made my case history much more detailed. I finally presented that case and gave my vivas, which both of them were excellent. I loved it. I loved giving the part of vivas because, to be honest, I'm good at telling things rather than writing things down. And I think theory exams are pointless and they should be removed from the system. MCQs and vivas are the real way to test a person's knowledge and the ability. Theory exams are just mugging up and regurgitating, nothing more than that. Finally, the first week was down and I had done my practicals, done everything. So in order to celebrate that, after the PSM practical was done, I went out with my friends to have lunch and it was awesome. I loved it, and finally had a relief that only 2 practicals are left now. The room looks so bright in this huge light. I'm recording a video for Sunday and it's been a long day for me. I've had my PSM practical in the morning. Apart from that, a bit of a crisis in the afternoon, and now finally we are here onwards to record the video. Make sure you're there on Sunday to watch it. So the next few days were our holidays because of the weekend, and as you might know, on weekends I upload. So every Sunday at 10 AM I upload a video on this channel. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss another upload. You might be watching my videos all the time, but you might not realize that you're not actually subscribed. So please do consider subscribing as well as liking this video. So for that, I wrote up a script and made an awesome video which was really well received and a lot of people absolutely loved it. And that video actually gained 270,000 views within the first 3.5 days. That's a big deal, and thank you so much for all the love and support for that video. But as that video was done and published on Sunday, my ophthalm practicals approached. And that was a bit scary because in here, my paper did not go well. My practicals was the time I was on for redemption. So I made up my mind and started studying a lot. I studied everything that I had to. I studied all the additional things that I had to. And finally, my ophthalm practicals arrived.
Hi everyone, tomorrow I have ophthalm practical and the day after that I have my ENT practical. I've been studying for the past 1 hour and I've made quite a lot of progress. So let me just update you on what I've been doing. So I'm using Kurana over here to read the practical aspects of ophthalmology, in which we will be given a case of different diseases and we have to diagnose what it is and present the disease to the examiner. The thing is, I have given my post-end of ophthalm and it was awesome. I did well in that post-end. My viva lasted around 35 to 40 minutes and I know how to present a case. But today I have to practice a lot and more importantly I have to prepare for something called as a grand viva. So in a grand viva, they basically make you sit down and they can ask you literally anything about the subject. Literally anything from any corner. So for that I'll be using Marrow notes because those have the maximum amount of information in the shortest amount of text, and of course I'm reading all the important topics from Kurana itself. Again, the one subject which I'm really struggling with in third year MBBS is ophthalm. It is not PSM at all. Never thought I'd say this, but this is it. And after that I'll finally be free. I haven't recorded for the past 2 days anything literally because it was getting too much. I was recording non-stop for the past 3 weeks almost, or more than that actually, because Exam Saga episode 1, this is episode 2. So I just need a break from all of that. So I did not record for 2 days. I had a lot of fun. But now I'm back on the grind and now we're gonna read ophthalm once again. The first thing we are doing today is instruments of ophthalmology. Now I'm okay with the theory part. I can answer the questions, but the instruments, they are a bit confusing. So I'm watching a YouTube video to get to know what you can do. So this is the best method to study for your post-end or for your practicals, to watch a YouTube video, because in there you will find the practical demonstration of how each and every single instrument is used and what is its functions. And this one which I'm watching is by Dr. Nikhil Gotmare. I am Nikhil channel hai unka. So he's done an excellent job making this video. Alright, now gonna watch it. It's evening and I am done with most of the part for tomorrow's practical classes. The sunset is beautiful. The things which are remaining right now is I have to review everything I've read once more because there are some lacunae which I want to be filled. Apart from that, if you look at the sky, you'll see it has got a lot of haziness. And after reading ophthalm for an entire day, you see and you perceive all of that as opacities in some structure of the eye. I'm just here for relaxing a little bit, and after that we're gonna go continue the same journey of ophthalm. I can't believe it's just ENT which is left, and after that I'll be free. Fun fact, the exam saga does not end after my ENT practicals are done. It goes on for another week. and that is going to be a secret. So if you want to know what is going on a bit earlier, then you could definitely follow me on Instagram, where I'll be posting a lot of regular behind the scenes stuff. Apart from that, let me just enjoy this moment. After that, I'm gone downstairs. So the instruments in ophthalm are pretty difficult to do because all of them are so tiny, and the differences lie in the extremes, that some hooks are bent and some are not. Some have different spokes, some don't have that. So just gonna revise all of that. Gonna watch a few surgeries, and hopefully I'll be fine, because I've already done that. Oh, there's the metro. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is a metro. Yeah, that's about it. And also the moon is out. We have the moon, and we have the sun. Alright everyone, I've studied as much as I could, and now it's time for me to sleep, because tomorrow at 7 I have to be out of the house. That means waking up at almost 6. It's about 12. So I need to sleep. Ophthalm tomorrow. I'm gonna smash it. Alright, I'm ready for ophthalm. Here I come. This was, by the way, my same dress from whatever it's called, from first year of MBBS, and now I'm wearing it for ophthalm. Morning. Hi अथर्वा. हम लोग जा रहे हैं वार्ड के पास, जहाँ पे हमारा प्रैक्टिकल होगा. अभी हो गई तेरे पढ़े? जितना होना था.
In the morning at 7:30, I went to my hospital, and the road in which I went through was very, very cold, because it was Nagpur and 7:30 in the morning is very cold. In the hospital, I was given a case of immature senile cataract, and the lady was around 75 years old, and she was very cooperative.
Hi everyone, I did my ophthalm exam right now. It went awesome. There were 4 different vivas. All of them I rocked, except the instrument part. I messed up a lot on that, but I'm pretty sure I'll pass. Onwards to ENT, but first I'll take a break. It's around 12. I'm roll number 1, so my vivas get completed pretty much before everybody else. Abhijit is still out there, stuck. But anyways, this has been great. I know that ophthalm is now doable. Nice. Anyways, I'll catch you when I study ENT. Bye. Okay, it's 6:30 and let's do ENT one last time, because tomorrow is my last paper. Last practical of prelims of 30 MBBS. That means that I'm this much closer to become a doctor, and I'm excited about it. So I'm just gonna get rid of all of this and study, because I'm looking at the PDF of instruments and I'm getting to know that okay, I did not study that well for ENT, but I know the theory part. Manisha ma'am has done an excellent job teaching me ENT. So let's go.
And now we move on to the last practical of this entire exam saga, that is ENT, ear, nose and throat. And guys, as you know, I'm good at ENT, so I did not study much. I studied few procedures, some few operations, the instruments, and a few of the cases. And then the next day, I went to ENT.
Hey everyone, so I just watched a few videos for the X-rays and the CT scans for ENT. I'm just opening the book right now. It's 7:30. Yeah, it's even more than that. It's 7:44. And okay, now opening the book for the first time before the ENT practical in less than 12 hours. More than 12 hours actually. Alright, fun fact, I didn't even know I had Dingra until after I deeply searched my library, because I thought I didn't buy it, and actually this was a gift from Elsevier. So thank you Elsevier for sending me this. I totally forgot that I have it, so I read entire ENT from my iPad during my theory exam. So this is absolutely blank. So tomorrow we're going to be giving a lot of clinical cases, so reading that, reading the treatment and the surgeries and the different instruments associated with surgery. So that's the plan. Alright, let's go. By the way, I'm really confused because Spider-Man is going to be out in 2 days. I have a lot of things to do this week. I miss my guitar. I haven't been, playing it that much since, because of all of this exams and thing. But I had an idea. If I have a second channel, then I can play the guitar over there and you can listen it, and I won't have to worry about things like copyright, etc. Let me know if you want to see that.
The adenoids, located above and behind the soft palate, play a similar role. The tonsils often become enlarged and inflamed when fighting off an infection. This is a condition called tonsillitis. Tonsillitis may be associated with fever, sore throat, painful swallowing, and swelling of the lymph nodes in the front of the neck.
Hello everyone, so it's 12:40 right now. I've completed the first read of ENT, at least done maximum things. Tomorrow I have to wake up at 6:30 and revise everything at least once or twice before the exam. And I will be fine tomorrow. I just had a small discussion with Aditi,
and we are good to go. I think we shall pass and we shall prevail tomorrow, and otherwise we've got no plan B apart from that. So I'm gonna sleep right now and finally go to my last practical tomorrow.
Completed reading almost all of that. I'm just gonna keep the book and go to my college because it's 22. Thanks. It's 8:22 and I have to be there at 8:45. Let's go.
ENT was my best practical that I had ever given, and in fact, as the mark sheet being released, I have scored the best I could, and I'm really happy with my score. So that puts an end to ENT practicals, and I was genuinely happy, and that puts an end to literally every single practical.
Alright, boys and girls, my ENT practical is done and it was awesome. I had the case of DNS and all the questions which were asked to me, I answered all of them. So I'm pretty happy with the results, and I think this is it. The practical is done, the theory is done. I'm officially prelims free. I'm in the night parking. I have to meet someone in the department. And after that, I'll be going home, and I'm just really happy that over the past 2 weeks, I have worked hard for this. I think everyone has worked hard, and I've been able to, finish this first before everybody else. At least, of my batch. Alright, gotta go. With that, my friends, this video is over. Huge props to my editor for putting this awesome masterpiece together, and thank you so much for watching it, because I know 50 minutes is a long time, and just genuinely it means a lot that you guys actually watch the content that I put out there. It has thoroughly changed my life a lot, and I want to say that the exam saga has not ended here. Another episode is coming to you in January, so make sure that you're subscribed, and let's aim for 25,000 likes on this one. Once again, thank you so much. It's your boy Anuj. I'll catch you in the next one.